Are you guys open?
Oh, hey, welcome. Come in here. Take a menu.
What do you think we should get?
I don't know, but I'm really hungry. This looks really good.
I know.
Would you guys like any recommendations?
Sure, what's good here?
Let's see. Genesao's chicken's very popular. Sweet and sour chicken, chicken and broccoli. Those are some customer favorites.
I think I'll have the sesame chicken. Can I just go with the chicken and broccoli?
Okay. Would you like a small or a large?
I'll have a large.
Small, please.
All right, I'll put that in. Your food will be out shortly.
Thank you.
May I help you? Chicken and broccoli? Pint, quart, or combination? Oh, the combination comes with the pork fried rice and the egg roll. Would you like that? Anything else? Perfect. Is this for pickup or delivery? For pickup. What's your phone number? 734. All right. That'll be about 15 to 20 minutes. We'll see you then. Okay, 間嘢carnation啦，間嘢濃，間種嘢大啊，我每晚我到你我見個多個隻一個要隻炒碗 ，OK？Okay, order 到都見到個多咯 ，Okay. All right, here's your order. Hope you enjoy. Hi, my name is Lily Zen, and welcome to my podcast. What you just heard are a couple snippets of what you may hear at my family's restaurant. Today, I will be discussing about a topic very dear to my heart, psychology, specifically restaurant psychology, and applying it to my family's Chinese restaurant, Main Man. For those of you who do not know, Chinese restaurants represent a small percentage of all restaurants in the United States. Despite representing such a small percentage, they are a big part of the community in many towns and cities, often providing a unique ethnic dining or takeout experience. Many of these Chinese restaurants got their start in the early 1850s, during the California Gold Rush, where thousands of Chinese immigrants came to the United States in search of employment as either miners or railroad workers. As larger groups of Chinese immigrants arrived, laws were put in place to prevent them from owning land. Because of this, most Chinese immigrants lived in ghettos called Chinatown and started their own small businesses. These small-town businesses were often owned by self-taught family cooks who improvised on different cooking methods and used whatever cooking materials and methods were available. They often catered to the customer's taste and added new flavors and ingredients to Chinese dishes. This style of food would become what is known as American Chinese cuisine. Alright, now that you know a little more about Chinese sit-down and takeout restaurants, let's delve into our first psychological topic, auditory influences. Research has shown that altering the music and audio in an environment can influence the way people select their food and drink. In fact, a field study was conducted in which a wine store played French or German music on alternating days. When French music was played, it tended to outsell the German wine, and the reverse would be true when German music was played. When the customers were stopped and questioned about their purchasing decisions, over half of those who agreed to be interviewed denied that their decisions had been influenced by the music playing in the background. So whether people were conscious of it or not, it seems that what people hear can influence their purchasing decisions. Other environmental auditory cues, such as background noise, have also been shown to influence people's perception of flavor and ratings of food and drinks. In one such study, participants were asked to taste 2 samples of bacon and egg ice cream, one after the other, and to rate the relative strength of the bacon and egg flavors. 2 different soundtracks were played in the background while the participants would taste each sample. Those listening to the soundtrack of sizzling bacon would rate the ice cream as having a significantly more bacony flavor than the ice cream that was tasted in the presence of farmyard chicken sounds. What's so interesting is that both scoops of the ice cream came from the same batch, meaning their flavors were identical. Therefore, these results show that the background auditory cues can be used to bias people's perception of the relative strength of two competing flavors. However, it is important to note that changing the environmental sound does not always change people's perception of food and drink items. It is probable that the environmental sounds affect the multi-sensory perception of flavor based on an already existing meaningful relationship between the person and the food being consumed. In addition to these two studies, it was also found that increasing loudness and beats of background music may result in an increased consumption of food and drink. Participants in this study tended to drink their beer faster in loud and higher tempo music. However, it should be noted that a simple linear relationship between increased loudness and increased beats per minute and increased consumption may not necessarily exist. It may just be that certain people prefer certain beats per minute and volume of music, which in turn would affect their rate of consumption. Overall, to deliver a satisfying eating and drinking experience, loudness, tempo, type of music, even the particular sounds made by the food as we eat and drink them, can influence and heighten the enjoyment and experience of a meal. Applying this concept to Main Moon means we may add Chinese music inside or outside a restaurant, which may influence people to come in and order. As for auditory cues, something I've always noticed was how much better my food tasted when I watched my dad cook with a wok. Hearing the sizzling and crisp sounds, as well as seeing the tantalizing big flames whenever he cooked, just enhanced my experience of food. And I'm sure this concept captures that phenomenon that I feel, and I'm sure many customers feel the same way. The next topic that we will be diving into is the menu. Similar to auditory influences, visual cues also influence how the mind may perceive the restaurant or food. Many restaurateurs are utilizing a visual cue in their menus called a descriptive label. Essentially, when a consumer sees a descriptive label, their memory will retrieve related and associated beliefs or images. This will provide a mental schema in which the menu item and descriptive label would be taken into consideration. And if both schemas match, the consumer will adjust the menu item to match the descriptive label. Essentially, if customers associate grandmas with sweet, tasty, and homey, a descriptive title like Grandma's Chocolate Pudding will elicit those same feelings. However, it is important to note that the correlation between the customer repurchasing that same item and descriptive labels is difficult to predict. It may depend on whether the food matches expectations. If a descriptive label raised expectations and resulted in disappointment, it may influence the consumer to not purchase that item again. Therefore, if colorful descriptive labels are used sparingly and appropriately, it can improve sales by as much as 27%. In addition to descriptive labels, a study also examined the effect of menu and price presentations at St. Andrews, a restaurant at the Culinary Institute of America, located in Hyde Park, New York. They found that guests given prices without the dollar sign spent significantly more than those with prices showing a dollar sign. Although this may only apply to that particular restaurant or restaurant type, this study does indicate that menu price formats can influence how and how much the customer spends. It may just be that it keeps people from thinking about how much their order would cost. Color can also be used to influence the customer. When customers see green, they may think of fresh food just picked from the garden. Orange, being a fun, light color with delicious qualities, may stimulate a customer's appetite, while the color yellow is very happy and may grab the reader's attention. Red screams, "Notice me!" It's an attention grabber and tends to make people stand up and notice. Red is typically used to guide people to the dishes that restaurants want the customer to order. And these are just examples of how color is utilized in the menu. In terms of interior design, warmer tones at the entrance of a restaurant can make the customer feel warmer, while cooler shades may send a psychological impulse to make the customer feel that the temperature is more relaxed. Light colors such as white, beige, and light gray can help make the restaurant look bigger and evoke a relaxed feeling onto customers. This would make them want to stay longer, making it best utilized in a sit-down restaurant, where customers can take their time. For fast food restaurants, colors like red and yellow are used as they elevate heart rate and blood pressure. This creates an exciting emotion and causes customers to eat fast and leave. When applying these psychological visual concepts to Main Moon, there are two things I need to know. One, our consumers, and two, how I want my consumers to be affected. In my family's restaurant, our consumers are typically families or college students, and being a sit-down and take-out restaurant, we want to be able to elicit both feelings of sitting down and relaxing, while also eating fast and leaving. Based on this, the colors we should utilize is orange, red, and white. As for menu design, price is not a huge factor for us. When you think Chinese restaurants, you tend to think fast and affordable, late night takeout, comfort food, etc. So for us, it is not a high priority to squeeze out more money out of our customers based on the menu. We would much rather persuade them to order bigger portions. Another factor that may go into it is the fact that my parents do not speak and write English at my level. It is more important for the menu to be as easy to read as possible, so keeping the dollar sign accomplishes that. As for our descriptive labels, we may add them to specific ticket items on our menu. Perhaps succulent Genosau's chicken will be making an appearance soon. Another psychological topic I want to talk about today is something known as the Delboeuf illusion. Your plate may be playing optical tricks on you. And named after the 19th century Belgian scientist who discovered it, the Delboeuf illusion happens when you look at concentric circles. When you look at concentric circles, your perception of the size of an inner circle becomes smaller when the actual size of the outer circle gets larger. When applied to plates, larger plates can make food servings look smaller, while smaller plates can make food servings look larger. In fact, 2 field studies in 2006 showed that children and adults ate more cereal when their bowls were larger, despite thinking that the opposite was happening. Another subsequent study also confirmed this Delboeuf illusion. In this study, attendees at a buffet were given either white or red plates, and the option between tomato or Alfredo sauce on their pasta. Those with the same colored plate and sauce tended to serve themselves 22% more pasta than those with contrasting color palettes. When applying this psychological concept, this would be best utilized in a buffet setting. However, Main Moon, our buffets aren't quite like other buffets. We go by order so that the food is hot and ready just for the group ordering it. This is to ensure quality food. Perhaps to reduce waste, we should give customers larger plates to make food servings look smaller. As for color plates, this probably will not be a deal breaker for us. Our sauces can be a variety of colors, from brown, red, and white depending on the meal. It's most cost effective to stay with the Chinese set of plates we already have, as it should be a familiar staple seen in Chinese restaurants. Well, that's all for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in to my first ever podcast. Overall, I really enjoyed researching these psychology concepts to share with you, and I hope my personal insight on how to apply these to a restaurant can help you. I would also like to give a personal thanks to my psychology professor, Dr. Rainey, for nurturing my love for psychology with his amazing class. Thank you, truly, thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. I really would like to continue doing these in the future, so stay tuned in for more. And remember to stay gold.